All right, gang, this is Dr. Darbro. Going to post a couple of brief videos on an introduction to STAT1800 A. I just want to give you, demonstrate a few things on how to navigate the class and make things easier for you, where you don't have to sit around and try to figure all this stuff out. You can see that we have a new look on Blackboard. I think it's kind of cool. I prefer it to the old version. So let's go to STAT1800 A and click it. Well, there's a lot of stuff going on there, right? So let's try to simplify that, which can be done by clicking Content. So when we go to Content, just about everything that we need, again, just about everything that we need is provided there. Now, what does a typical week look like? Or actually, I should say, what does a typical lesson look like? If we dive into lesson number 1, all of the lessons will be set up the same way. First thing you see is you see the introduction to the lesson in the objectives. So in other words, what I'm doing there is just pretty much telling you what I'm going to teach you. Next thing we do is we go to lesson resources. This is where you have your instructional videos. So the online presentation, instead of coming to a particular classroom for 4.5 hours per week and listening to me present lectures, you click this in the luxury of your home or wherever you may be. No set time. You can watch them at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., whenever you want to watch it. It's going to be there. So if you click it, it will take you directly to YouTube and you can watch the instructional videos. I highly recommend that you treat this the same way you would if it was face-to-face, meaning that you should take good notes, keep your notebook organized, because I'm going to tell you something. Once we get down to lesson 4 and lesson 5, it's going to be easy for you to forget things that I taught you back in lesson 1 and lesson 2. So an organized organized notebook is critical. So let's dive back into lesson 1. At the bottom, you'll see that there's some files. Throughout these instructional videos, there's sometimes files that I will use. So there they are for you. Next thing you'll see is supplemental resources. This is just some extra instructional videos that I found on YouTube that could be helpful. I don't think you'll need it, but if you do, they're there. Lesson assignments, I don't really like this because it's not thorough. I'm going to show you a way in the syllabus where you get a lot better and more consistent and updated information than right here. But nevertheless, it's there, and you should mostly ignore it, which is kind of strange. And again, all the lessons are the same. Lesson 5, you get the introduction and objectives. Instructional videos. I'll explain the co-rec material instructional video here in just a second. You have the extra resources, and you have the lesson assignments, which you should mostly ignore. All right, now let's dive into the syllabus. Oops. So the syllabus, the main things I want to get over here. My name, again, Dr. Darbro. My office is 113 ADM. I'm not in my office much anymore because all of my classes are remote. They're online, so I can do all of my work from home. And I am the director of our Masters of Mathematics program. It's fully online now, so there's really just not much need for me to come to my office because I can do my job, or at least 99.999% of my job from home. Office hours, I have to put this, I'm really not a big fan of set office hours in an online class because, so many of you won't be able to attend those times. So I say office hours are pretty much from 8:30 a.m. until about 5 o'clock, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursdays, 8:30 until about 12:30 p.m. I play golf on Thursday afternoon, so I'm not as available then. And Fridays, 8:30 until about 5. Saturdays, I usually work in the morning from about 8:30 to noon. Sundays, I do not work. There's no need. If you contact me on Sunday, you'll get a response on Monday. But the point is, I check email a lot and I respond to emails. And if you're struggling with something, reach out to me via email and we'll set up a meeting through Blackboard Collaborate if needed. Now, what's Blackboard Collaborate? Let me go ahead and just talk about that so I don't forget. Blackboard Collaborate, I don't even know if you see that. Okay, you should see it now. If you click that, it gives us a place where we can set up a session. So I can create a session, and then you and I can meet there. All right. Course description, all this stuff's important, but I want you to read it, and I'm certainly not going to read it to you. That would get really boring. One part of the syllabus that is extremely important is how to access the textbook. First of all, do not purchase anything. About 5 or 6 years ago, I set up something called a First Day Inclusive Access Program at Shawnee State University in partnership with Pearson. So what they agreed to do, I think this textbook is about $120. Don't hold me to the prices. I'm not sure. They change that all the time. But I think it's about $120, but they agreed to give us a significant discount if we would pay up front and include those fees in your all's tuition and fees. So this stuff, access to this textbook has already been paid through your tuition and fees. So again, don't purchase anything. Now, to get connected to the textbook and my course, it's actually pretty, let me get rid of this. It's actually pretty simple. Go to create your MyStatLab account. Click the Pearson link. And this is the tricky part, because if you already have an account with MyStatLab, which I think a lot of you may, then just go ahead and sign in. If you don't have an account, then I would just go to get registered. I would make sure I have an email address. You do not have to use your Shawnee account here. You can use a Gmail or whatever it may be. You need your instructor course ID. There it is, Darbro 84251. And you need the access code. And it's this long code right there. So if you register now, type in Darbro 84251 and continue to register. Now I have an account, so it's going to default me to signing in. If not, you need to come down and create an account. Now, something to put on your radar here. This happens all the time. Students, for some reason, if you want to make your life miserable, do this. No, don't do this. It's just, it causes problems for you. It causes problems for me. Had a couple of students this summer, actually 3 students this summer, who created multiple accounts. One student had 3 accounts. So sometimes she would log into one account and do work, and then sometimes she would log into another account and do work, and then sometimes she would even log into a third account and do work. So imagine the mystery of why her grade was so low, because she was getting a lot of zeros on work in each account that she was submitting in another account. So it was complete frustration for her. She was all, and it was just because she had set up multiple accounts. So if you can keep from doing that, please keep from doing that. So I would just go ahead and sign in and get registered. So enter your access code and so on. Okay. Once you get connected to the class, takes a while because I'm registered as a professor, and I think it's kind of confused because I was kind of navigating as a student. But anyway, once you get connected, STAT1800 A, click it. And then if we go to assignments, you will find links to assignments throughout the course. All right, so I'll talk about these demos and assignments and all that later. You have your student gradebook. This is where you can keep up with your grades. All grades are kept in MyStatLab, not in Blackboard. Let me repeat that. All grades are kept in my stat lab and not in Blackboard. And I will tell you that the grade calculation, the algorithm in my stat lab that calculates grades is a little wacky. It's not perfect. The grade that you see on my stat lab typically underestimates your true grade by 1 or 2, maybe even 3 points. Is that always the case? No. But typically, I would say for probably 90% of the students, that's the way it is. Now, you might be thinking, well, Dr. Darbro, that's a little wishy-washy. I want to know my exact grade. Well, I can't tell it to you in my stat lab. It's just the algorithm. That's the way it works. But to ease your mind, I want you to know that at the end of the term, I will export all of these scores into Excel, and I will recalculate your grade perfectly down to the what, 100,000th of a percentage point, right? So it will be calculated correctly. But typically, my stat lab grade tends to underestimate just a little bit. So if you have any questions about the textbook, reach out. But I think that the document that I provided, again, right here, I think gives pretty detailed instructions. All right, come on down. The course structure, computer hardware, all this stuff is important. Blackboard access, which I'm actually showing you how to do. Course objectives, formal presentation of what I'm going to teach you. But I think the most important part, at least for now, comes in part 3, which begins on page 4. Because this gives you an indication of what a lesson is going to look like. All right, so lesson number 1 runs from today, August 22nd, until September the 7th. And you have all of these targets that you have to meet by these due dates. This class is not self-paced. This class is very structured to align as closely as possible to the way I would teach you if it was face-to-face. It's not face-to-face, it's online. But it's still, we kind of borrow from the face-to-face structure and embed it in the online component, the online presentation. So what do you need to do in lesson 1? Well, you need to watch 9 instructional videos. I showed you how to find those, right? Content, lesson 1, lesson resources. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, they're not 9, they're 11. So watch these 11 videos. Blackboard introduction, going to take you about 15 minutes. Just do Thursday, August 25th at midnight. Don't get any points for it, but entertain me. Those are actually fun to read from time to time. Now, this is where I think the most confusion, and really, to be honest with you, this is primarily the motivation for creating an instructional video and not typing all this stuff out. You'll notice that you have discussion forum post, demos, and my stat lab assignments. Distinguishing between these 3 can be confusing. All right, let's talk about discussion forum post. If you go to content and go over here to discussion, you'll see that you have lesson 1 discussion forum post 1A, lesson 1 discussion forum post 1B. If I click that, when it's ready for you to answer and get credit, you're going to create a thread, you're going to type your name, and you're going to come down here and you're going to type out the solution. You're going to come down, you're going to hit submit. Now, the way this works is you will not see other posts. Let me get back to, interesting. Let me get back to discussion. You won't see other people's posts until you post. And obviously, once you post, you can't go through and say, well, I like their answer better than mine, and resubmit a post. I will only grade your first post. No exceptions. I will only grade your first post. But let's say that you got it wrong, right? We'll use it as a learning experience. Look at the other posts and learn from the ones that were counted correct. Again, use that as a learning experience. And don't be afraid to reach out to another student and say, hey, why'd you do that? And see if they'll explain it to you. If they don't, reach out to me. Well, anyway, you have 2 discussion forum posts each lesson. Discussion forum post 1A, discussion forum post 1B, 2 of them. Now the next thing you have are the demos, and demos are really cool. And here's what happens with demos. If you go to content, if you go to lesson 1, go to lesson resources, you'll notice that you have video number 8, demo number 1, video number 10, demo 2, part 1 and part 2. If you click this, I will work this demo for you. In other words, go to my Stat Lab. Click demo number 1. You got 6 questions. I work these 6 questions for you in this video. All you have to do is have one window open where I'm working this stuff and another window open where you are working the problem. Sometimes they're the exact same problems. Sometimes they're the same problem, only with numbers changed. But I work it for you. I show you exactly how to work it. So just play along, enter the answers. You should get some really, really, really easy points here. I really lose, or I get frustrated with students who contact me like, week 17 and are like, Dr. Darbo, what can I do for extra credit? And I look down and they haven't worked any of the demos or very few of the demos. Well, I'm not going to help you if you're not going to help yourself. So this is a way to get a lot of easy credit. Why? Because I worked the problem for you, right? Now, the assignment is a little more challenging. You will see in the assignments, let's just grab one of them. So in the assignment, there are more questions. It's going to take longer, has higher point value, and I don't work them for you like I do the demos. Now, some of these questions you'll see that I did work in the demo, but most of these questions are from the other instructional videos that aren't titled demo. All right. Nah, this is annoying. I wish it would go back to the spot, but they didn't ask me. See all these other videos not titled demo? Well, that's where this other information will come from. So again, each lesson has what? Discussion forum post, demos, my Stat Lab assignment. Lesson number 2, discussion forum post, demos, assignment. Lesson number 3, discussion forum post, demo, assignment. All right, so that's the way each lesson will play out. Now, I'll get into the midterm exams in another video, but I want to keep this as short as possible. Gosh, I've lost my syllabus. Oh, here we go. Now, get on through the lesson 7. You'll see grading policy. This is just how everything will come together at the end of the term and be used to calculate your final grade. And then final grade assignment uses this, it has the performance and the percentages, so that aligns with the letter grade that you will receive. Completing assignments, something you need to understand is if you submit stuff late, you're going to incur a 50% penalty. Coming on down a little bit, university ADA statement, if any of that applies to you, you know what to do. You need to get a form to me so I can do everything in my power to make sure that those accommodations are provided to you. All right, gang, I hope you have a wonderful semester. I'm going to post another video here in just a second about how to handle exams, but I wanted to keep this one focused primarily on the differences between demos, assignments, and discussion forum post. Oh, one more thing. I think I've kind of maybe glanced over this. I can't remember. The online tutoring sessions, Tuesday from 3 to 5. Again, I may have mentioned this, but I don't want to skip over it. The first 7 weeks, Sarah Graham, who is a graduate assistant, will have drop-in tutoring on Tuesdays from 3 to 5. So if you want to drop in and get Sarah to help you, just click this. It'll directly go into her tutoring session, and she can help you. She's wonderful. She's an ex-student. She graduated from Shawnee State. She's now a grad assistant in our Masters of Mathematics program. She's had me for 2 undergrad courses and 2 grad courses, so she knows me well, and she's very helpful. Now, the second 7 weeks, Sarah will actually be teaching a class on her own, so she won't be providing the online tutoring sessions, but Brooklyn Bowers, our other grad assistant, will be delivering those. So, all right, gang, that's all I got. Take care.